Welcome to Window to Our Mind, episode number 4. How are you, DC?
Pretty bad. Last couple of days have definitely been rough, but still trying to hang in there. But yeah, it's been rough. But yeah.
I am sorry to hear that. Things happen. So, as of right now, Gray has told us he won't be able to make it right now, at least. Maybe he will join in later on. I also gave the link to many people, and maybe we will end up having a guest, maybe more than one guest. Anyway, today is a very interesting and important discussion we will have. Um, Usually, when we talk about psychology, sociology, these deeper discussion, just like the burnout 2 weeks ago, usually I bring research, but here I feel like I'm well equipped to talk about it, and if you know like bare minimum psychology, if you studied psychology either in college or university, you most likely have heard of that concept, and you most likely know what we will talk about. So this discussion will be more uh, to inform people that don't really know that thing exists. So yeah, what do you think of that intro right now, DC?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Perfect. So, just like last week and the week prior, the video has nothing to do with the concept we will cover because I feel like our discussion we will have right now will cover enough stuff about classical conditioning, Pavlov dog. Um, so right now, we start to talk deep into it with the first question: what's positive and negative reinforcement?
Hmm. Let me just see the questions really quick. Hmm. Positive, I guess. I didn't do a lot of research as well, so just keep that in mind. So my knowledge is really lacking. So yeah. So the positives.
So let's just pick like positive and reinforcement as one thing, and then we
Yeah.
can go on and guess on negative and
Yeah. I'm just.
reinforcement
Yeah. I'm
as
just.
two concept.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think about because for those that don't know, I'm not a huge dog expert. Me and dogs have a pretty interesting like relationship, but yeah. When it comes to positive reinforcements, I'm just gonna take a guess and says it makes the dog at least have better behavior. Again, I'm not an expert on this, but yeah.
Okay, so I will specify something. Maybe Pavlov dog as a concept got you mixed up a bit. Um, so I will basically explain something. We are not that different from dogs. The big difference between us and them is first of all our organs and the fact that our brain is more developed than theirs, but we react the same way as them to a lot of things. So when I speak about positive and negative reinforcement, it's most likely going to be like what could be positive reinforcement for both an animal and a human because we are responsive beings. So maybe that will help you out answering
Yeah.
the question a bit better.
Yeah, I think it's probably like their behavior and how what else? And how like how they eat, etc. Like that kind of stuff. Like yeah, now that you just point all that stuff out, yeah, I do understand a little bit better, but yeah. As for the negative reinforcements, not sure if this one would count, but like would it make the dog less healthy or will it eventually lead them to like a early death, like cancer and all that.
Well, this is very interesting. Uh, you add parts of the answer, but that's expected because you don't know much about classical conditioning,
Yeah.
and I don't think you studied much
No.
psychology in high school or wherever you're studying right now.
Yeah, yeah. I had it last year, like over like a year ago, but yeah. Yeah,
So
but even then we didn't talk about animals that much. We talked more about humans. But yeah.
So to go back to what I said, we are the same as animals. We are just more evolved. That's the biggest difference between us and them. Um, that's funny because we are also able to do horrible and terrible thing, which is hilarious. Animals don't have that kind of aspect to them, but that
I
I
mean
guess
some
that comes with
do.
evolution.
Yeah. Yeah, some animals do some really bad things, but so does humans, so it's part of evolution,
They
but yeah.
the animals they don't realize they don't have moral compass or anything. It's just their instinct kicking in. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah. Okay. Here's the explanation. I will provide the answer to the question. We will make it a bit different. So I will ask the question and I will basically give the answer after you replied because I already know pretty much every answers, and this will give a different spin than usual because Gray is not there and we are just us two for now. Maybe this will change when we will have guests on. So positive and negative reinforcement. So reinforcement is something we do when there is a behavior seen in a human or an animal. As I said, we are not that far apart from the dog and the monkey and stuff. So positive reinforcement would be the dog did something good, the dog did something we like, we will give him a treat, a candy, something he likes, a cookie, something he will enjoy. This is positive reinforcement. Now you will associate that treat, that candy to the good behavior, so he will most likely do the behavior we want him to do. And this is hilarious because that's a way you can raise your kids. That's how I was raised, and I'm not the best human being on earth, but I know there's worse than me. Um,
Yep.
so that's one thing, right?
Yep.
Now, when it comes to negative reinforcement, this is very interesting. This is like the reverse of it. So basically, the kid or the dog, the animal, or whoever is there, as a behavior you don't like, you take away something they like, the treat, the candy, or for example, it's a kid. The kid likes video games and internet. The kids as a bad behavior, let's shut down the internet, let's take away that Xbox or that PlayStation. This is the negative reinforcement because now you send the kid, look, if you end up having a bad behavior I don't agree with, you will have consequences. And this is another way to condition someone into doing something. um, so are these two concepts uh, more understood by you right now after
Yep.
me explaining? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any question? And I will say this when we talk about that kind of topic: question matter. Question are important.
Yep.
No question is bad. Every question is important. So if you got any, I'm wondering, do you have any right now?
No, I really don't.
Well, I guess you understand very well and I explained very well. That's amazing.
Yep.
So, question number 2 is very interesting. What's classic conditioning? What is classic conditioning?
Mm. Like I said before, I didn't do research, so I'm not that well an expert, but I'm just gonna go on through the flow with what you said. Um, it's like how do I word this? It's like the examples you give with like the candy or treats. Like if you have good behavior, you get something. That's the positive reinforcements. But if you but say they have bad and etc. and negative reinforcements. So I'm guessing the classical is kind of like a balance between the two, something like that. Um, am I a little close, or is it completely in the wrong? But
You're on the right track.
okay, good.
Um, so I kind of gave the answer already at some extent with the first question. It's just like to explain better the concept of this stream. So, um, basically, classical conditioning is interacting with behaviors the way we do with dogs and humans. Basically, we take away stuff they like or we give them stuff they like. Oh, look, you had a good behavior, my child. I will give you more time with video games or more time with movies and more stuff that you like. This is basically classical conditioning. It's establishing a rule set that the person needs to follow. And if that person follows the rule set, something good will happen. If that person doesn't follow, something bad will happen. This is as simple as that. This is the classical conditioning. And yeah, um, any question, my friend?
Not for me.
Okay, number three, and this is a tricky one, and there's no bad answer on that one. There's many, many response you can give. It's almost endless. You spin it one way, you have the right answer. Like if you're wrong, it's because you didn't understood the question. That's the only way you can be wrong with that one. So number three, why is it so important to talk about classical conditioning?
I think it's important because it can how do you say it? How do you say this? Put in words, yeah. You can essentially learn if something's going wrong with your dog, and is it like something like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Is there more you'd like to share on that?
No, I was only gonna ask because again, I didn't do research. All I know is just a dog condition. So,
And human
um,
as well. So
yeah.
I precise every time I specify because we are not that far away from animals.
Yep.
Um, so I decided to bring this on really early in the podcast because this is the basis. This is the basic of many psychological thesis and basis and foundation. It's the foundation of psychology basically, um, and I also brought that on because we will talk about society, we will talk about psychology, we will talk about the culture war if we have a left leaning person, because a lot of right leaning person uh, got in touch with me. So this side is on. We just need to find the left so both sides can be represented the same way. So the biggest reason classical conditioning is that important is you understand better how to fix something wrong with someone. You have the tools to fix something wrong with someone, and you have the tools to understand how some people interact, because a lot of people do classical conditioning without even realizing. They implement that on a lot of aspects, and I will give a great example. These red pillars we covered last week, they have the buzzword modern woman. And most of the time when they talk about the modern woman, it's not the good type of woman you'd like to have and to seek for, even if it's really vague. And some modern women are great, but they will always twist the modern woman as being a bad thing. And this is classical conditioning because now you associate the buzzword with their definition, and their definition is always really bad, sexist sometimes. So once you get to understand that, you're like, oh, I see the red pillar as being toxic now. And I'm sure in that crew, some may know about classical conditioning, but others don't. So some people inherently know that what they're doing is conditioning because they know their audience, when they hear that buzzword, they're enraged against modern society and they are all in with your video. Um, and the same idea is applied to the anti-woke crowd. Each time they specify woke or the message, you're meant to be enraged against Hollywood because it's always a bad thing when it's woke or when the message is there. So even then, they do classical conditioning and they don't even realize it. So what do you think of that, DC? What do you think of that?
Yeah. Anything to do with the anti woke people is just nonsense. And when it comes to even this kind of topics, like, yeah. Yeah, there's a reason why I stay away from those guys like all the time. Like I don't even bother watching some of the videos because there's just the same stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna bother with my own stuff.
That's a good choice. That's LT.
Yeah.
Like there's more bad than good in it. And I will add a bit more because I kind of realized none of my question really talk about Pavlov dogs. So I think it's the right moment to talk about Pavlov dog, the segue into Pavlov dog. So Pavlov was a psychologist. I can't remember what he was exactly, but he understood how people worked, and therefore he understood how animals worked. And he had a dog, and if we were in 2023 or even 2000, that guy would have been deemed a awful human being. And um, yeah, so he had that dog that he experimented on, and he was like, since we are not that far away from the animal realm, if I can control that animal, I can control anybody. And it's partly true. So what he did, he had a bell, and he basically rang that bell. And now that bell was a stimulus. I think that's the right word. Is it the right word? Stimulus is basically something that creates a response, that creates a reaction from someone or something. Am I right? Or I don't have the proper word in English. I know it is in French. Is it in English, DC? I'm asking you.
Mm. What was the word again? Let me check.
Stimulus, stimuli, stimulus.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the wrong word, but that's basically something that creates a response or a reaction. What would be the proper word?
All
Because
right.
you know
So
more word than me.
yeah. So here's what it says. It says a stimulus is any object or event that
Yeah,
el- elicits a sensory or behavioral response in an organism.
yeah, exactly. So I was right. So this is a stimulus or stimuli. That which one is it? The one you just mentioned.
Stimulus.
Okay, stimulus. Perfect. So the stimulus was the bell. You rang that bell. So the dog's like, oh, I hear a bell. And now it was like, okay, now I want this dog to have a specific behavior and reaction to that bell. So from now on, he decided he'd bring treats like cookies for dogs. He rang the bell, he bring a treat. The dog is like, oh, a treat. Cool, I will go eat it. So Pavlov went after the treat. He eats it and then the dog leaves. And then the scientists ring the bell again. And he brings another treat. And the dog is like, oh, another bell, another treat. Let's go for it. And now the scientist Pavlov is doing it over and over and over again. So now each time the dog hear that bell, he's like, "Oh, a treat is coming my way." So he has saliva, and he wants that cookie. He's ready for the cookie. And at some point, Pavlov is like, "You know what? I will stop giving him the cookie, but a brain, whether it's human or animal, it doesn't get deprogrammed just like that in a snap of a finger. It takes a long time. So that day, Pavlov decided no treat, no cookie. The dog was still excited and he had saliva falling down from his mouth. But he was like, oh, why there's no cookie? It's disappointing. And the next day, the scientists would do the same thing, the bell, but no more cookie, no more treat. And the dog would have saliva again. The dog would be ready again to eat. And this would go on and on. And now he realized he created something new with the dog because now the dog expects a treat. And at some point, the dog will stop expecting that treat. So he will stop having that saliva, but that can take long time. So do you understand the story behind Pavlov dog now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So to add another layer, um, I can't remember if that was him or another scientist in that realm that did that, but he decided to create a new stimulus with the bell. Instead of giving um, a treat after the bell, he would give an electric shock to the animal. But here again, I'm not quite sure if that was Pavlov or another scientist in that crew. This I can't remember, but I remember hearing about that in my psychology course. Um, so the dog at first would be like shocked and surprised, and then the second time, another shock. The dog is like, "Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that bell anymore." Another a third shock. The dog is crazy now. A fourth shock. The dog is now conditioned into believing that the bell will lead to a shock. So now they decided, okay, you know what? I will take away the shock, but I will still ring the bell. So they still rang the bell. The dog was scared. He was ready to get shocked again. Then he realized, oh no, I'm not shocked. The day after that, they do the same thing. They don't give a shock anymore. The dog is still afraid of the shock. So this is how messed up it can get. And this is why it's important to talk about it because sometimes buzzword can create chemicals in your brain making you happy. Oh, look at that buzzword. Look at that. Like some spheres on the internet program your brain. And if you know how this shit work, you can get away from it. You don't always do, but your chances are higher if you understand what's going on. Any question about that fabulous story?
Not for me, other than it's insane.
And this works on human too, because as I said, we are
Yeah.
not that far away from animals. But the big difference between us and them is we are more evolved. So if, for example, we are subject to that kind of experience, like we would know as a person that they are playing with us, but our brain would still react the same way because our brain is more based on instinct than critical thinking. As a person, for example, you're subject to the bell, the treat, and the shock. You would associate these things as danger or uh, reward, and even if you know you will be rewarded, your brain will still like release the chemicals. You will still have saliva, even if you know it's a trick. Your brain won't really know, if you know what I mean. Like your brain won't think. Like you will process things, but your brain won't really process it. Like they will associate the same way the dog did, because yeah, that's how it goes. Um, so the last question, I kind of hinted at a potential response in that very long story about Pavlov dog. Um, how can we reverse engineer classic conditioning?
Mm.
So maybe this can help. So to reverse engineer is to backtrack on something, and to reverse engineer is basically do the same process in reverse and apply it to something else,
Mhm.
or deconstruct what is the process.
Yeah, I was
Do you
gonna say.
understand the question better now?
Yeah, I was actually gonna say something similar to that, but yeah, I just didn't know how to word it correctly. But yeah, yeah, I think you have to do this the same way, just do it the other way around, like the opposite direction, like the opposite way. But yeah, so it was gonna be something similar, but yeah.
So the best way to reverse engineer is basically creating another stimulus to the bell. That's the best way to do it. Uh, it's reprogrammation. Instead of giving a treat, give a shock. Or instead of giving the shock, give a treat. So now the brain will swap the expectation of what's going on. Um, and another way to reverse engineer is to, for example, you're under influence of something or someone, and you know what's wrong. This is a buzzword. So how you can reverse engineer as someone that is under that spell, if we can call it that way, is to ignore that buzzword. Try your best to not react to that stimulus. So, for example, someone says woke or someone says modern woman, you think of something else. So now the deprogrammation is there. You're no longer like reacting the way they want you to react. Um, as a person that's making the classical conditioning, so basically as Pavlov, what he can do to reverse engineer is, you know what, this buzzword, modern woman, for example, it's very negative. Now, each time I will throw that way to my patient, I will bring positive to it. Now, instead of being negative, it will turn positive, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Um, so that's the best way to reverse engineer. So if for example, uh, you have something you don't like about, do the reverse basically. And that reminds me of a movie or a TV show. I can't remember which one, but that was a very smart TV show or movie that had psychology in it. And the person involved in the scene I'm thinking of was very religious. and that person was having some self-given pleasure, and that person thought that was a sin. So that person, right after having a bit of fun, that person would self-inflict himself or herself some pain. Now that person would be like, man, I feel guilty, I feel shitty, and that person would no longer enjoy that self pleasure moment because it would injure himself right after. And the way he was doing that, it was like, I need to get rid of that behavior. I need to stop having some self-given fun, if you know what I mean. So that's why that person would trade pain after to associate fun with pain. So he would no longer have fun after that. And this is tragic and sad at the same time, but that's well written and that's very smart because I can bet in real life some people do think that way. So was I clear enough in the story without being too thirsty, or was I
Yeah,
clear enough? Like,
yeah, you were clear. Yeah,
and
you
I
were.
was YouTube friendly because I try my best to be YouTube friendly. YouTube already hates me. I can see with my views recently, but anyway, we do YouTube for fun.
Yep.
But yeah, I try to remain YouTube friendly. So this is the classical conditioning, the foundation of psychology. What do you think of all of what we said?
Yeah, yeah, it's tragic and sad, but it's human nature sometimes. Like that's how it is. But yeah, it's very sad that things like this exist in our world.
Yeah, um, that's the thing. They tested. They tortured a poor dog. Now the dog is, well, he died, but by the end of his life, the dog was still having saliva for that bill.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, okay. Video time. Um, we got a bunch of videos, so maybe today will be the first day where we cover more than one video, depending how long we take with that one. So please, potato computer, do not fail me. Don't. Okay, there we go. If at some point you realize my picture doesn't move anymore, that means I crashed.
Yeah. All right. So
Okay, there we go.
I'm gonna try and just join on my computer. That way, I can at least get the video. It should be on, but I don't have my headphones on. So
That's
yeah.
fine. I will screen share right now. There
All
we
right.
go. So we are just us two for now. Don't hesitate to tell me to pause.
All right.
Don't be shy about that. That's just us two. So this was a clip I took from a podcast. That podcast lasted for like an hour and like 20 minute ish, and I did created mini segments. We won't cover the entire thing, but I feel like we could cover a few segment here and there throughout our own podcast because they do bring very interesting stuff. And I don't think these two women doing that podcast are 100% red pill, but they share a lot of things with the manosphere and stuff. And I think they are more nuanced and smarter than the manosphere because obviously they are not as sexist. They don't have internalized sexism toward their own. Um, so yeah, this will be very interesting to have women's perspective about stuff outside of like stupid brain rot TikTok. Um, so let's do this.
Don't want this to come across judgy because I have also been not perfect. I got
Sure.
married at 19, I wasn't a virgin. I not proud of it, but I mean, I wish I could have given that gift to my current husband, but
Right.
it's what it is. I'm
Right.
And have I used my sexuality in the past to get what I want? Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Um I think the problem that I'm seeing with the hypersexuality across the board is that I feel is concerning to me for
Okay, so she mentioned something very interesting that a lot of women do. That's mainly in theater, but even today, like with OF and a lot of women like do benefit from their bodies. Um, it's very interesting how she self reflect on that as a woman. What do you think of that?
I actually think that's something I can even relate to because I've reflected on myself countless times, and yeah,
There are
yeah,
things
yeah,
there are things we do that we are not proud of, right?
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and the first thing is to realize we are not proud of something, and then we can work on the process to like think another way and do something else. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Not for me.
Okay.
these young women. The OnlyFans page, the Instagram, the social media, the movies, all of these things, it seems to me as if these women have created themselves into being a transaction.
I fully agree with that. What do you think?
I agree as well.
That goes back to what we talked about. I believe that was like the first or the second week where Gray asked us if we think women could be considered as commodities. And this goes back to what I said. You're only a commodity if you see yourself as one, if you act as one. And I think that's the gist of what she says as well. What do you think of that?
Yeah, same. I agree.
Now we will sound like an echo chamber, but that's fine. That's fine. Maybe we'll have a guest with another perspective. I really hope so. Um, so let's play that.
Mm.
And not really, it's not really about their self-worth. They're using this tool of their beauty
Mm-hmm.
to sell something, which I get, it's been done forever. We've got models, we've had all of these things happening.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
So that's the funny part because in the red pill sphere in TikTok, like everywhere we can see women complaining about this advantage and how society failed them and stuff. In the past, I agree. Like go back like 60 years ago. Hell, 50 years ago. A woman's place was in the kitchen and that's wrong. They deserve better, they deserve more. But today, they are no longer victim. If a woman comes to you and says she is a victim, it's because she sees herself as one and she acts as one. And victimhood is just a safe place for some people. And I think it's very sad. What do you think of that?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's very
They
sad. Go on.
Oh no, no, I'll go on, bro.
I was
I
gonna,
I, I did cut off.
I was gonna say, it's very sad, but it's so true. Like a lot of women nowadays would say, "Oh, that they're being abused," when in reality, it's just them making up the story. It's very sad, but yeah, that's what's been happening a lot nowadays. Especially with the most famous one nowadays with being Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Then you
Yeah,
also had some of the other ones like some musicians like Marilyn Manson, etc. So it's like, yeah,
and the sad part is they can use their bodies for transaction, and men they don't have the same kind of appeal because we are not as easy to, how do I put it, men are easy to please, and I don't think women are that easy to please, and this is why it's harder for men to like get money for OF, for example, because women are not as much into that kind of stuff than men. Let's be honest, we are men, right?
Yep.
uh we like that kind of stuff, right? The idea is wrong, but we still enjoy watching stuff, right? Or we did at some point.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that no woman likes that. I'm just saying that it's still a taboo for some women and even society. Um, so yeah, it's funny how they how a lot of women like to say like to say men bad, patriarchy is bad, and they're no longer under that spell. So right now my mouse, okay.
I just don't know that I like it for them because I don't like how it becomes an identity almost, right? So
I agree with what she just said. I think it's very smart that a woman sees that. And I feel like if more women would see, stop playing the victim, stop uh defying and objectifying yourself the way you do, maybe other people will stop doing the same. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree.
So just let me know if someone is waiting in backstage. Maybe you will see it. I hope you will,
Yeah.
because right now I will stay on that page because it's just easier.
Yep.
I'm the OnlyFans girl who does this for $30, or I don't know how much stuff costs.
Right.
You know, I have no idea. But
Not sure I want to know, but okay.
but then it also is a tool to subjugate and oppress men.
What do you think of that?
I don't agree
Okay. Let me know why.
because I mean, you know, yeah, a lot of the women who use their bodies just to impress men. Yeah, I know that there's a lot of people, especially in my town, that even if you did show them, even if you're a girl and you show some guys your body, they're still not gonna be that attracted to you. Maybe it's just from my town, but I also think it's from me as well because, like I said, before, I yeah, I have seen some women's bodies, but I was never attracted to them in the first place, and that's probably because I know that not sure what's the right word to use, but I know I was not attracted to them like at all. So maybe it's just from my personal experience, but yeah.
Well, one experience is one experience, right?
Yep.
It's valuable. Thanks for sharing on that. Um, yeah, okay.
Right.
And exploit them and
Mhm.
exploit their dollars
Right.
and exploit.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so there's so many things sad about it. And it's
Mhm.
not that I have been an innocent girl who hasn't dressed inappropriately, who hasn't, I mean, it's been many years, but many, many moons.
I'd like to add something else. She had the capacity to self-reflect a lot.
Yeah.
And this is amazing, and this is wonderful to see people being able to self-reflect this way. I feel like if everyone was able to self-reflect that way and realize they were wrong into doing something, the world would be a better place. People would change and they would accept to change. The sad fact is when you just blame it on patriarchy or men's, you don't self-reflect. You don't realize you have a part to play in the game. So what do you think of what I just said?
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I agree.
Okay.
Many moons.
Sure.
Because as you get older, ladies, you put more clothes on. Layers.
It's true.
Lots
It's
of
true.
layers.
It is a lot of layers. Yeah.
So how do you
So I'd like to point out to something. and I know this will rub off a lot of people the wrong way, but she kind of admits that women may be not as attractive as they get older. That's why they add more their bodies, because a lot of women realize I got older, I get less men if they are single and stuff. And she kind of admit that, like, without realizing. What do you think of that?
Mm.
You can
Yeah,
disagree, bro. You can disagree. Like
yeah,
I
I'm just
said it, I don't want us to sound like an echo chamber. If you agree,
yeah,
that's fine. If you disagree, that's fine as
yeah,
well.
yeah. I was just trying to think of something to say, but yeah, yeah, I agree.
So it's very interesting because she looked like she is maybe in her mid 40s, maybe she is in her 50s, early 50s. Um, but yeah, a lot of women don't accept to age. A lot of women, they will still like wear makeup and have different hair colors, so they hide their best. Um, they are aging. People don't accept to age, and it's sad because that's a truth that everyone will know. You will age. You will get older. It's normal. Um, so yeah, right now it's glitching. Okay.
You feel about, I mean, I feel like, and I don't want to pick on the Kardashians because, but it feels like they changed the landscape of,
yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
of
Okay. I will sound crazy, but I only heard about the Kardashians, so I have a roughly idea of what they are and who they are. Do you know more about them than me?
No, I really don't. I've tried to avoid them as much as I can.
Okay. Well, we don't exactly know the Kardashians. I can. So here's what I think they are. They are like women that use their body to sell stuff. I don't know. That's all I feel they are. Like they are a brand. They are like maybe good looking woman. I won't search it because my potato computer is trash, but um it's funny how they bring all the Kardashians are a bad example, and each time the Kardashians are brought up in something, I have that stimulus. I'm like, oh, that means something is bad. Someone is bad because they bring the Kardashian on. If you know what I mean. To go back to classical conditioning, Kardashian equal bad.
how women are perceived. And I don't want to pick on sex workers because they're making money and doing what they got to do, but it also concerns me that it's getting so normalized.
Right.
Okay, what do you think of that? Normalization of like using your body to sell a brand or to sell something. What do you think of that? I kind of
Oh,
know, but I also ask. What do you think of
I
that?
I disagree, and I think that's completely wrong. That's
Well,
complete.
I'm with you. I hate the fact that it's normalized. I hate the fact that society is leaning toward it's fine to sell your body and stuff. It's something that should remain intimate, like that's how I see it. Maybe I'm too traditional for 2023. What do you think of that?
I mean, traditional for 2023 standards, yeah, but not in the way how what the anti woke people would think, in the way where you're actually giving out real good reasons. But yeah,
And I think this is the hard piece of the conversation to even really feel safe having this part of this
Mhm.
conversation.
Yeah, because we're
there
going to get
is
flamed on this.
right. So there's so much in it that it almost is
So when she says we are gonna get flamed, it's because she knows that will offend people and that will rub off people the wrong way. And she's self-aware of that kind of stuff, and I think she's really smart. And that's why I think their podcast is very interesting, and I did separate in several segments at least two of their podcasts. Um, so yeah, what do you think of what we just said?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
People are easy to offend when it comes to truth they don't like. That's
Yep.
how I will word it.
A conversation just by itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, in the process,
And you've got to wrap this up in 60 seconds.
right?
I'm
yeah,
totally
exactly.
joking. I'm totally joking.
I don't know if I can do that either, but sort of. In the process of really looking at the essence of what women are, I think that there are things in that are absolutely unique to each person. And I don't see that there's an issue with
Mhm.
expressing that part of ourselves. The issue, I think, is the when you're monetizing that part of the
Mhm.
femininity.
Mm.
And that is the piece that
Becomes
I think
the
is
transaction.
right. Exactly. That's where it's like, no.
Do you agree with that? It's wrong to become the transaction.
Yeah, it's wrong. Completely wrong.
So we are kind of on the same page as what they say so far. It's very interesting. I felt so good when I was watching that because that made me realize that a lot of women, regardless of their age, they are so grounded. They still think um, critically. They are not mindless people. Because sometimes I look at TikTok and I'm like, bruh, TikTok is like a nest of stupidity. Um, so far, I only shared one TikTok thing, but I got so many of them, and I feel like I will keep them all for like my other channel. I plan on creating. That's why we didn't touch upon every TikTok thing, but I've seen so many stupid shit going on there. It's like the best place to have brain rot. Just spend like 10 minutes viewing TikTok advices and TikTok like dating and that kind of shit, and you realize, bruh, the system is rigged and stupid.
Yeah.
Can't, like, what happened to that innocence of it
Mhm.
and the vulnerability? Like, why is the vulnerability so predatory? The vulnerability is the piece that we really want to be able to express.
So I think what she means by the vulnerability is kind of wrong. It's because modern media doesn't want any flaws for a lot of women in a lot of franchise movies and TV shows, and that vulnerability is fine, but they want to deny its existence because woman must be perfect, you know. And I think this reflects in that discussion that we encourage people in society to become transaction like that, but there's a big but to it. It shouldn't be that way. We shouldn't encourage that kind of stuff. I think that's the vein of what she's saying. What do you think of what I said? Am I clear, or I'm
Yeah.
losing my train of thought on what
Yeah,
I
you're
tried to express?
yeah, you're very clear. Very clear.
Okay. I think this is what she means, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm not in her head, you know. Trying to mansplain, as we say. Here again, mansplain is another thing that is kind of a negative thing to say because woman tells you mansplain is wrong. That goes back to classical conditioning.
In a way that is honored as it's received and not monetized
Right.
as you're receiving it. And I think that that is the issue with the whole thing is that's the pieces that I am so just
Okay, so-
gross, barf.
So, what about the girl who wears the skirt so high you see her cheeks as she goes out to a club?
This is where you and I totally disagree on this this whole thing. 'Cause I'm like, it doesn't matter what she's wearing.
Okay, doesn't matter is what she is wearing coming from the men. What do you think of that, DC?
I disagree because, like, had I not witnessed it in my sophomore year of high school, because there was one time a guy wore an inappropriate shirt and he had to change. Yeah, I think it actually matters what you have to wear. Um, yeah.
Okay. I will add more to this. Wear whatever you want, but there's the thing: you will be judged, and society likes to say, "Men, you look away. You need to look elsewhere because that's valid. That's wrong." But have we ever heard like a man wear like being white out of the shirt, for example? Have we ever heard a man saying, "You girl, look away. Don't watch. Don't look. Don't peek"? Have you ever did that to a woman?
Nope.
But we keep doing that to men. So it's like a double standard. We expect something from men that we don't expect from women. Like for men, it's just like that. Um, we we turn men into villain. That's what society likes to do, and that's why we are so divided. Then we got these weird simps that are like, "Oh yeah, we totally should have these kind of double standard because women were oppressed." I will repeat what I mentioned many times over. Two wrongs doesn't make it right. It's like one of my favorite quote we can make.
So this is the thing. So
Well,
again,
Well, I'm
it
wondering
doesn't,
what
it doesn't.
I'm wondering what motivates us to want to get that kind of attention. Okay.
Insecurity.
Well,
It depends. Um, I won't deny her experience because she is a woman. I'm not, but I think some people are very secure in their body and they are like too secure, so they feel like the need to show it because they're like, "Look how proud I am." But that's me from the outside as a man that sees everything. What do you think of that?
I agree with you.
Well, that showcase how different our experience is, and
Yeah.
it's been a long time I have taking that clip, so I can't remember what the other one will say. I'm curious.
well, here's the problem. Here's where I have.
Okay.
So let's talk about the gym girls. I don't
Okay.
know if you've seen these viral TikToks. These girls,
The gym girls. Have you heard about that?
No, I've never heard about it.
So I will add more context. That was very popular, maybe like 6 months or a year ago. I'm sure she will explain it, but I will still talk about it, and then she will explain it. So, um, basically, the gym girls, there were a lot of girls that were basically recording themselves going at the gym, and they were wearing like clothes that would make evidence of their curves. Like they would always almost, I say almost, be naked on that gym, and they would do weird exercises, or they would place their cell phone on a way where anyone that's looking like even for a second would be blasted and turned into shred. And sometimes they would complain that men are looking toward them, even if the guy's just changing machine. Or sometimes some of these gym girl would just sit on a machine and text and do stuff, and some men would come to them and ask them if they are using the machine, and then she would complain, "Oh, that man is sexist," or "That man is peeking." Sister, you were wearing that crap there. You made your choice to go there with these clothes. So that's basically the gym girl, like girl that wanted drama in the gym, and they were clothed to create drama, and they a lot of them were creating drama just to humiliate some men. That's basically the gym girl for you. That was a terrible trend, and that's funny because that's like a year and a half after Me Too, and they pull off that kind of shit.
Stay away
where
from.
you should. Well, it's kind of fun. They've got cool dog videos, but they dance and sing. So anyway, these gym girls, there's a ton of them out there. This is like a trend to post, I'm working out at the gym, watch me work out in scantily clad clothes, right?
Mhm.
And then they seem to be really upset that a guy might look at them.
Right.
And
That's funny because she's laughing, and I laugh as well in my head. What do you think of that?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think she explained better the phenomenon than me. So do you understand better what's a gym girl right now?
Yeah, I understand better.
And segue there, it's hilarious because when I used to use the dating app, and that will be a topic for later, but that segue is basically when I was reading on the description of the girl, gym girl, I would be like, run away, run. I'm not liking the shit. That's my instinct of survival kicking in. I'm like, that girl is drama, bro. So yeah.
that's the part that frustrates me is like, did you, it seems like it's like getting a tattoo in these bright, crazy colors and then being mad somebody's looking at it.
Right.
Or,
Oh, bro, that's the best example she gave. I fell in love with that podcast when I've aired that. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
So, because my computer is potato, once we are done covering this video, I count on you to share this video on the chat. Um, so yeah,
Okay,
if you
fair.
have spiky hair, long purple and pink, I'm going to look at it because it's fascinating.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, and I'm even going to look at the gym girl because I'm usually fascinated, like, how much work did that take? And I don't want her to think I'm hitting on her, but it's a little, if it's fascinating to me, I can't
Right.
imagine my husband or my son looking away, though you should.
what I mentioned earlier, we tell men to look away, but we don't do the same with women. Because, yeah, that's how rigged the system is. And I think the biggest reason why these two are more nuanced than a lot of people and they are more grounded than a lot of TikTok outside and somewhere in the internet, I think it's because she has an husband and a son, and she seems, based on what she show on that podcast, that she has a good relationship with her husband and her son, and there's nothing toxic about anything about that triangle there. And I think this is why she's not crazy. I think she's very grounded based on what she says. Even if I disagree with look away and stuff. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree.
I think if you got kids and you got a good relationship with your kids, that can help you viewing the world another way. Especially if, for example, if you're a mother of a son, you will understand better men's because you got a son. And I think the same goes for a father that has a daughter, he will understand more women's. Uh, so yeah, I think it's a fascinating topic there.
Right. But I think that is the essence of women, right?
Okay.
In general, women, and there are some women who just do it so well.
Mhm.
It does not matter what they're wearing. Men and people, everybody looks. It doesn't.
I disagree with that. Um, so here's why I disagree. Um, if the girl is average, even if she has like revealing clothes, I will not look at her the same way as a attractive woman that has revealing clothes, and only because I have in my mind that kind of parameter, like that kind of rule set of what's attractive and not. and it's fine. It's not being sexist. I can bet women sees men the same way. That's why when you're fat, you're less likely to get a girlfriend because they look at that kind of stuff, whether they admit it or not. What do you think of that?
I would actually disagree because I kind of have that problem. It's not where it is related to some certain clothes, but not to a point where I would just go up and ask the girl out. But I do kind of have that kind of problem. But yeah, I get what you mean, though. But I do disagree.
Well, that's perfect if you disagree. Do you want to elaborate more to help the
Um,
audience understand? Because that's fine if you disagree. I mentioned in the past, it's wonderful. I don't want to sound like an echo chamber. So maybe elaborate more if you got ideas to elaborate on.
yeah.
Do you have ideas to expand upon on
Oh
or not
no,
really? No?
no, not really, because I was just using some of my personal experience. But yeah,
Okay, so basically you agree with her and like regardless of the woman, like they will look beautiful for you with depending on the clothes, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you're on board with her, so she's not crazy.
They could be wearing a plastic bag and people would be drawn into them. So I don't
But
think
in a sexual way or in a interest way?
no, in well, everything that is beautiful we observe and think, "Oh my god, beautiful,"
Yeah.
right? And you
Right.
want the world to be that beautiful all the time.
I mean, we like flowers.
right. Right. And there are frilly
We like
dresses
cute
and we like
puppies.
cute puppies. Exactly. There are certain things that just make you feel
See, I just pimped my
More.
dog out. Okay.
but that is the essence of love, right?
Yes.
Because we want to share the love that we have. So to me, the issue isn't whether or not she's wearing whatever she's wearing. The issue is she's looking for affirmation.
Yes.
What do you think of that? Are clothes a way to look for information?
Oh no, no. I first didn't understand, but then when you said, I was like, oh nope, not at all, not at all.
So you disagree with what she said?
Yeah, because look, just because a girl might wear some really nice clothes does not mean she's a good person. Like you can't get anything from clothes. Oh, now granted, the only thing you can kind of understand is, if she's not wearing like really clean clothes. Yeah, you can kind of tell that she's poor, or compared to someone who's wearing nice clothes, who she's not poor. But that's like the only thing I will say. But apart from that, it does not distinguish anything. It's just you're just a normal person wearing clothes. But yeah.
Okay, so maybe you don't necessarily understand what she really means, but basically the way I see it and the way I translate what she just said, um, some people dress, some women especially dress for the men eyes, and she want the men to say, "Oh, she's beautiful," like, or they want men to think she's beautiful, and that's why she's wearing something. So, do you understand a bit more what she meant now?
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I disagree. When you explain it
Okay.
like that, yeah, I disagree.
Oh, that's very interesting. So here again, this is somewhere where we disagree, and that's wonderful. I like that. So I do think a lot of women they pick what they wear because they have seen another woman having success with that kind of clothes. So they're always like, oh, I want bits of that success. I want pieces of that success. So I will wear the same kind of clothing because it brings success and I want to be accepted and I want to be liked by others. But here again, that's my take. You have a different one, and that's very interesting.
Of what she's wearing to affirm that she's beautiful.
But then is upset when she gets it.
Right, exactly.
That's the most hilarious paradox. That's the most hilarious thing about women. They get what they want, they're still not happy. What do you think about that?
Honestly, I'm not even surprised.
That's how rigged the system is. Give them what they want, they're still not happy. Give them the ring, they will still get away with your house. They don't really want your ring, they want the house.
Yep.
Oh my.
That's
Like-
the confusing part for men, I
Yes.
believe. Like,
Right.
okay, if you're going to wear scantily clad clothes and men look at you,
Mhm.
you might have to be comfortable with that,
Right.
or don't do it,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But are they just uncomfortable because the guy doing it isn't cute enough for them?
Bang, bang, bang. What do you think of that?
I don't even. Ridiculous.
So that's the truth. Like, if you are good looking, if you're the type of man they are seeking for, and you say something they like, they will have googly eyes. They will like you like really hard, but they will be disgusted if it's someone they are not attracted to that comes around and say, "Oh, you're beautiful." They will be offended. They will be like, "No, I'm insulted. Don't come to me." But if they are attracted by you, they will be like, "Oh yeah, tell me more." What do you think of that?
Yeah.
You can disagree. I've said it many times. Do you agree or disagree?
I do agree with you. Just I'm just like, yeah, I find all this stuff about women ridiculous.
This is a paradox, my friend.
Yep.
Okay, that's a whole other
All right.
conversation.
Well,
but-
it sounds toxic,
Uh,
right?
right,
Like,
exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I really think that
you
women
can't pick and choose.
right. Right.
You can't pick and choose. I like that remark. What do you know what she means by there?
No, not really.
So what she means by saying you can't pick and choose is if you're happy when the attractive guy give you a compliment, be happy when the less attractive one gives you a compliment. You cannot say, "Oh, because he's attractive, I can say, oh, thank you," and because he's not, "Oh, I hate you." You cannot like have double standard like that. So the way she says this and picture it, she's like, do all or nothing when it's this case, when it's that. Usually I'm more nuanced. Usually I say it's a case by case, but when it comes to clothing and getting attention from others, I think this is one of the few cases where it's all or nothing. um Either you will accept everyone's compliment or don't. But as I've said, in a lot of cases where you get to choose to do something or not, I'm like, it's a case by case. There's nuance, but there, it's just like not having double standard. That's how I see it. Do you understand better what they mean and what I try to
Yeah.
express?
Yeah.
Would you agree with all or nothing in this specific case?
Mm. Yeah, I think I'll agree.
Okay. So it's fine if she says okay, thank you to the attractive man, she will need to say thank you to the less attractive one as well, because this is all or nothing. So yeah.
I only want tens to look at me. Like, that's not a thing, right?
No, that is not a thing. And so
Oh, please do not make that into a clip.
There's so many terrible things about like, no, do not do that.
Right.
It's funny how she laughed because she's like, don't do that. I agree with that kind of reaction. Like, be more like this, please. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with that. Yeah, as
But
well.
however you are dressed, it should not matter who looks at you or who doesn't. Like
Right.
the object is not to sexualize what you're wearing. Who are you dressing for? Like that is the other question.
Okay, so
Mhm.
I'm going to really get in trouble for this one. Somebody once told me, and I'm not going to mention their name because they're part of my family.
Mhm.
You know, I was taught to dress modestly.
Right.
And
Mhm.
and because I was told, I can't know if I can. I may have to cut this out. I'm going to say it out loud, and then if we have to cut it out, Tyler, to cut all this.
This is the piece.
If you want to be treated like a hooker, dress like a hooker. If you want to be treated like a cop, dress like a cop. If you
What do you think of that?
I agree with her actually. Because like dressing up as a hooker, you become a hooker. Dressing up as a cop, you become a cop. So I kind of agree with her.
I'm with you. I'm on board, and I think that's like common sense. Like the clothes you pick is who you are. It's the kind of stuff you want to show and share. So it's just human to say, like, if you want to give a positive, a good image of yourself, you need to think what you're wearing is giving a good image of yourself. If you reveal your skin, it means you're open into having intercourse early and fast, because you're revealing skin to anybody that wants to see skin, if you know what I mean. And if you don't want that intercourse, if you're not easy girl to get, don't reveal your skin, because you're sending two message. The more skin you show, the more open you look. And I can tell and bet as a man that a lot of men will just jump on the occasion. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree.
want to be treated like a pastor, dress like a pastor. Like, do you know what I mean? Dress for the job.
Fair point. Dress for the job that you want.
And this is wonderful that they mentioned dress for the job that you want. It's hilarious because I work in a hotel and I had many new people I needed to train. And I've seen many new people. And the hotel was laughing hard when they were seeing some of them just by their clothing. They're like, it's a 5-star hotel and you're wearing freaking khaki and pink shirt. Where are you? Like, your security, you're not a tourist, are you? And it's the same thing in the day-to-day basis. Like, when you go on the street, like, think of whether you are wearing.
Meaning,
Okay, I get that.
meaning more than the job. And I'm not saying
No, there is something in this piece of wearing clothing, whatever it is. Everyone's shape is different.
Yes.
So the same thing is going to look different on different people.
Yes.
And some people you're going to be like, wow, that looks amazing. And other people are like, why are you wearing that?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a
I don't want to do that. I don't want people doing that to me.
No, exactly. Yeah. I don't either. I'm not going to wear anything that shows skin.
You will not see me in bike shorts and a belly shirt.
No. When I was 12. But I wouldn't do that now. But I mean, thankfully, we've gotten away from those like low rise pants that are just like an inch over your pubic bone. You're like, oh my God, what the hell were people
they're
thinking?
Falling off all the time.
Right. And some people, cute.
Yeah. Well, I think it had a right
And
shape.
other people
to hold them up.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You have to have a right butt.
Right. And other people, you're like, oh, you should not wear those.
Sorry, hon. It's not everything's meant for everyone.
But again, this is the thing. If you are comfortable in it, who are we to criticize you wearing that?
Okay, so I want to make clear I'm not criticizing girls for doing this. And, in a perfect utopia, we would all be able to just wear whatever we want and we wouldn't have to be in fear of being accosted by a predator.
That's utopia. She said it. Now my computer froze. But yeah, what do you think of that? Do you think it's realistic or that's utopia, like what she said?
Mm, I think it's realistic.
Okay. So you can expect someone like to wear like revealing clothes while being approached by someone that want to have some bedroom fun.
Yeah, I think that's a little realistic. Um, I don't know. Maybe it's because I've never witnessed it, but or seen it happen. But yeah, yeah. So do you want me to?
Actually, my computer came back, so it's a miracle. It came back. So here's why I think it's a utopia, because human are human. Um, I'm not saying every human will like want bedroom fun with that person with revealing skin, but I can bet some will do if you had no father figure or if your mother didn't taught you respect or that kind of stuff. Depending on your education, you will have a different response and reaction. Um, so this is an utopia to think that you can wear anything you want without people approaching you because you're wearing that kind of clothes. Um, so yeah, I agree with her. Um, and you don't. Do you want to expand more why you think it's realistic and not like a dream world like what she is saying?
Mm, I don't think it's a dream world because I don't really see how. Mm, I don't think it's. The reason why I don't think is because I don't really see how. What she said, kind of because the definition of a utopia, at least from what my mindset is it's a future where it's perfect. And I don't really know how like what she said kind of elaborates to that. Give you a good future, yeah, but a utopia is like a distant future where everything is perfect, not just yourself. So I'm not sure how it elaborates. If she didn't use the word utopia, I would have said don't think I would have that same answer. But yeah.
So you have a good definition of utopia. Usually, it's a near future or a distant future, depending on the case. But in that specific context, utopia is like dream world. It's that's the context it's in. She's not speaking about the future. She's mainly speaking about the present, and
Uh,
some people may think otherwise, and she doesn't think it's realistic to think otherwise. So that's the kind of context. Do you understand more what she
yeah.
meant?
Yeah, and now when you elaborate like that, I kind of have to agree more with you because I thought it was like the distant future for everyone. Yeah, now I should agree with you because I didn't know what she meant by utopia, but yeah.
But you had a good train of thought, like distant future and stuff. That's one way to approach utopia, but the way she did use utopia is it's really like it's a dream world. It's not reality. It's there's a disconnect there, and this is why it's an utopia.
Right.
Unfortunately, we don't live in that world.
Unfortunately, we do not.
And that's where the toxic masculinity comes
Right,
out that we
exactly.
have to combat.
Right.
We can't just wish it away. And I think
No,
that's
and
what the
yeah.
movement tries to say. Well,
Right.
men should just be able to look away. Well, they should, but they don't all,
They-
because not all of their moms taught them to.
Right.
You
I'm against that. Um, it's coming from a woman's perspective, and now I will share the men's perspective because people don't tend to listen to us because we are men. Um, I think it's just wrong to say it's something you must be taught. Um, because if you're willing to teach that kind of stuff to your son, that means you undermine the son eyes. You say you don't have eyes. You don't have the right to peek. And it's coming from a very feminist approach. And would you say the same to women? Would if you have a daughter, would you say, daughter, if you see a man without a shirt, don't look? No, because it's counterintuitive. So if you treat your daughter one way, if you teach your daughter one way, you need to teach the same way to the son and vice versa. So if you say look away to your son, say look away to your daughter. And if you say look away to your son and you don't want your daughter to have that kind of behavior, tell your daughter don't have that kind of behavior. So I strongly disagree with that. People should be held accountable for what they're doing and how they act and with their clothes and stuff. And you just say, okay, they can wear whatever they want without consequence. And maybe that wasn't the intent. Maybe that wasn't the message she was trying to giving, but this is the vibe I'm getting. And I think there are consequences to everything. What do you think of everything I just said?
I do agree, but I do disagree on one part, and that is when you talk about the mother stuff. I do believe what she says because yes, some people, especially some guys, have who grow up and with a mother who abused them or did worse than that. Yeah, they would end up being a little unstable. Some of them, not all the time, but yeah. So I do agree with what she says, but I do understand your point of view. And this also goes for the fathers as well. So I do understand your points, but I don't necessarily agree with them in a whole sense, but I do understand them.
Okay. If you want to elaborate more on your point of view, feel free to do it, man. That's our show, you know. Do you want to add more to expand or not really?
Not really.
Okay. But yeah, I just think it's counterintuitive to ask something from someone, but you don't do it for the other gender because the other gender is perfect based on feminism and that kind of ideas. Um. So yeah,
You know,
Yes, true.
and
True.
and so if you get to wear what you want, they get to look if they want. Like, you can't have it both ways.
Right.
You got to have the freedom. And so these gym girls who are
free will. And that's funny because she just said that, but she's like a mother gotta teach otherwise. So I feel like there's a cognitive dissonance there. There's a disconnect between two ideas she brought because she tells two different messages there. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree.
Now, I don't want to insult her or anything. I think a lot of people do cognitive dissonance. I can bet if someone review our podcast, maybe they will find in me other cognitive dissonance. Like a lot of people do that and they don't even realize. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. So yeah,
complaining about people watching them
Mhm.
and then go, these guys are leering at me, but then there's no one in the gym, which is also a funny, this is just a side note. That's kind of fun. Like, nobody's watching you, girl. There's no one in the gym.
There's no one there,
It's
honey.
just
You don't
you.
need to worry about it. Yeah. Mhm.
Do you hear voices? but I think it's, a lot of it's for attention on social media, right? To get
Yeah.
clicks, to get
Right.
clickbait.
Everybody wants likes. Yeah.
Yeah, just like we're going to do on this.
Right. Right.
We're going to try and bait you in with the hot topic so that you'll watch the whole video. And so please do like and subscribe. It does help us. So I guess we disagree.
We disagree. I mean, I really think you should be able to wear whatever you want and wear it any way that
I
you
think
want.
you can too, but you should also be aware there's consequences. You're going to be treated differently.
this comes back to what I said, cognitive dissonance there. She says there's consequence, but she will teach their son to not create consequence.
I still disagree.
So you don't think men will treat a girl who's scantily clad differently than a girl who's dressed modestly like you?
I think certain men will do that.
Yeah, I do. So, but you have to expect that.
Yeah, I suppose there's some. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
We'll give
So
you.
I'm just shocked. I don't care if they dress like that. I don't care.
Right,
And that's my
exactly.
husband's
I'm
around.
not going to. Right, I'm like, I'm
I'm
not
totally
going to
joking.
look at them any more than you're like, what?
I mean, I do look because I am fascinated, but honestly, from my end, it's truly usually with somebody can pull it off. It's kind of an appreciation of,
Right, you're like, dang,
I know
okay.
what it takes.
Yeah.
Like and obviously I don't do it. But also I think about the men in my life and how do you have to handle that? You have to force yourself to look away. You have to change who you are.
There we go. That goes back to what I said very early in the stream or in this video. We expect change from men, but women are perfect. What do you think of that?
I disagree, because if we expect men to change, we should also expect women to change as well.
But here again, that's an utopia, because right now that's not the case. we are not going out of our way, like outside of our bubble there right now in this stream, and maybe the manosphere. That's maybe one of the few places where I still agree with the manosphere and the red pillars, but it's just not a trend. Like, we will let women get away with stuff, and it's been proven many times around with prison sentence, for example. Same crime, different gender, different sentence. We are harsher and harder on men's because men's are evil. And that's what third wave gel power did to society. Trying to be YouTube friendly, right?
So the women never have to change who they are.
Right.
Now,
there we go.
So we're going to suppress the men, and we're going to take away all your assertive aggressiveness, your biological visual. I mean, men are.
I cannot agree more with what she just said. She reflects what I think. Do you want to add more?
No.
Visual, right? We're going to pretend like that doesn't exist for the women.
Okay, well, this comes back to the whole Kardashian thing. Who are they cosmetically altering themselves for?
For billions.
Right. Right. Because clearly there's a market for it. And that's the tragedy of the whole thing, is that it becomes
I don't mind that they did it. It makes me sad that other girls thought they had to do it.
Right, exactly. Like
to be like them.
Right, exactly.
Like it was going to change their life.
Right. This is beauty of women, is really being in our own essence and just allowing that essence to be exactly how you are without having to do anything. And to me, clothes can enhance you feeling that you got it right. You know what I mean? Like for yourself. It isn't for somebody else. To dress is to really feel that you're doing it for yourself, and you're like, oh yeah, I feel really good in this.
So
the further away we get from a patriarch.
Okay, that was enough for this video right now. Right now, I will go back to StreamYard for a moment. What did you think of all of that?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely at least good to see. I think the part I can respect is the fact that the women actually self-reflect, unlike what some other people would do. But yeah.
Okay, so, I almost forgot. Do you still have the link of that video we just covered?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you share it in the chat right now, so people can go take a look? Eventually, I will unlist a clip from that podcast, a clip I took for another episode, maybe next week or the week after. Because when I upload, I unlisted, since it's not my content, but I still want to use it on a good basis. So, were you able to copy paste the link?
Yeah. Do you want me to because I'm new on the phone on StreamYard, so because
on the chat of StreamYard.
All right. Oh, Oh, I think it's because it's on my Discord, and I'm gonna have to go on Discord. But yeah, so I'm gonna quickly leave and be back. Okay.
Okay. So it will be right back. So right now, what's going on? I will look into every videos. I think we will cover a second video today because, yeah, I'm looking into every video I have in my playlist. Maybe something in the same vein. You know what? This is another very interesting one. Okay. DC is coming back. He is back.
Yeah, yeah. I just posted in the chat.
Okay. Copy and paste. There we go. Okay. So you did use the right link, right?
Yeah.
I will just double check because I don't want to make that list I shared with you public. Perfect. It's not perfect. Okay. Perfect. There we go. Okay. Oh, I just realized that's my link.
Oh.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I will anyway, I don't think we will need that video anymore, so I will delete it. So the right after the stream. No, that's fine. That's my fault. I didn't realize what I really asked from you. I will actually do a YouTube search for this. So what was the title of the channel?
From what I was able to cite, it was
Something. I can't remember the other part.
Yeah, I didn't know the channel because it was actually on yours.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I didn't know.
Okay. I will probably leave a comment after the stream. So right now we will cover video number 2. Let's do this. Video number 2.
Oh, here we go. Hi everyone! So I remember quite a while back in my YouTube days, and maybe you'll remember too. It was around the time of Trump's inauguration, the orange Cheeto dust had settled on the presidential election, and Trump was soon to be the main Mac Daddy P of the US of A. Angry whammons took to the streets, put on their suspiciously looking roast beef flap sandwich hats, and rolled out onto the pavements and started marching for their rights. They marched and screamed out their woman song for all to hear, mass congregated into a herd of wildebeestjes to boost each other's overinflated egos, and marched at the risk of injury to their overinflated cankles. But before we go on, please allow me to introduce this video's sponsor. Let's talk about Atlas VPN,
I just
developed by
realized.
top.
Okay, I will skip the sponsor because I don't care about the sponsor. But I think it's funny the way she depicts it. Do you know what she's talking about, though?
No, not really.
Okay, I guess that's something in the USA I'm not aware of, and you either. A bit sad, but I guess we will react to the rest. Let's do this.
Speak like Natalie Portman and Madonna, and it stirred them up into a frothing clam frenzy.
Welcome to the revolution of
Vaginas.
vaginas. you. New age of tyranny. Fuck you. Wake us the fuck up. Fuck you.
So I feel like that person doing that, the blonde one saying that, she had swear word only to add impact to what she is saying, because it feels really empty. And sometimes people swear a lot to pretend they have substance and impact. What do you think of that?
Yeah. Sorry, just processing, but yeah. Yeah, I agree.
You can disagree, you know? You have every right to.
I normally would have had I not literally seen it, because literally it's happened in my school like what countless times. So I just kind of used to it, but yeah.
So I hit the nerve right on that one. She is just
Yep.
there to provoke and fuel anger.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
The revolution starts here. Fuck you. Revolution. Fuck you. Are you ready? Fuck you. I said, are you ready? Fuck you.
One voice that stood out in particular was Amber Heard. Oh, wait, no. Sorry. Amber Rose. You see, Whammons were claiming back the word slut.
She's a slut and she
So this video will kind of laugh at that trend. I will say this. I think the bad side of that word, um, I won't mention it because I don't think it's a YouTube friendly word, but that specific word is very negative. And I think a lot of women are like, we cannot associate ourselves with that kind of negative image, but we know we are that, you know. So the reason why they kind of add that trend going on is to look better than what they were. So that's how it goes. Do you know what I'm getting at? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
knows it. She wants to root all the boys. She can't help being a slut on a Saturday night. It's a nice slow song.
And I'm just
That song killed me, bro. What did you think of the song?
Yeah.
Well chosen. Wow. This stream is going crazy. And this is funny because the negative aspect to slut goes back to classical conditioning. It's because we perceive that word as being bad, that the word is bad. We weaponize the word. So this is wonderful. We do parallels there.
warning you guys, this video is going to contain the word slut a lot. Slut. So let's start a slutometer, a slut counter, if you will, and we'll see how bad it is at the end. They were tired of being shamed by men and set out to change the way we treat promiscuous women. They pointed the finger right back at men and said, if I'm a slut, what does that make you? And Jesse.
I said it many times. Too wrong doesn't make it right. Like, and this also goes back to girls are perfect in modern society. They cannot be negative. It's the men's fault when they are negative. Do you know where I'm getting at with this?
Yeah.
Would you agree or disagree?
No, I disagree.
Okay. Elaborate, expand. I'm curious to hear your thought process.
Okay, so I'm gonna need a little bit of a recap. That way I understand better, because I know I definitely disagree, but yeah.
So the recap is, women's they think they don't hold any responsibility, and it's all men's fault that things are bad. It's never
All right.
theirs.
Yeah, I disagree because, look, I've known a lot of really bad guys and guys. I've known plenty of them, but the one that is arguably just as bad are the girls. Trust me, I've been that many times. Literally, you can almost tell, and it's like, yeah. So pretty much, yes, I've met a lot of guys who do really bad things and are some of the worst people I've ever met, but at the same time, the girls I've met are still just as bad. So no, sometimes, yeah, it's a guy's fault, but it's also a girl's fault as well. For instance, some bank robbers can be female, just like how most bank robbers are male. Some can be female.
That goes back to kind of what I said, but in modern society, I will give another example. In modern society, if a woman is turning out to be a bank robber, she is wrong, right? But
Yep.
society will spin it in a way that she's just another victim. That's not her fault, and let's blame it on a man. A woman's wrong is a man's fault. That's basically what I meant. So, do you understand better
Yeah,
what I
better. Yeah,
tried to get at?
yeah.
Um,
I understand better.
okay. Would you remain on your standpoint, or you're shifting more toward what I think, or you remain the same?
I still remain the same, but I do understand your points though.
Okay, perfect.
Healy Peterson would gladly let us know.
And it's like, well, if going out on a date with a guy makes me a slut, then that's just what I'm gonna be.
I don't think going out on.
At least she is like, at least she accepts that fact. She's one of the few that is held accountable. But I can only bet and guess she will blame a man if it turns out not really fun anymore.
Yeah.
On a date make you a slut, but having sex with different men makes you a slut.
Well, what does it make you if you have sex with different women?
A slut maker.
Hilarious. So yeah, we all had a good laugh about the whole slut shaming, slut claiming thing. I mean, how f***ing stupid was that really? You want to behave like a slut, but you don't like being called out on it. So you're going to reclaim the word slut as your own and proclaim in a loud and proud voice, yes, world, I am a slut.
That goes back to what I said. They want to spin something that should be negative into something positive, because let's not taint or tarnish a woman's image, because society wants women to be perfect, because they have that ideal of what a woman is. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay. Would you like to expand more?
No.
I am a nasty, skank-ass, slutty McSlut station. Deal with it. Oh, God. Stupid bitches. We all had a good chuckle at the expense of these idiot skanks and went about our business. I mean, what harm could it do, really? Fast forward to today in the TikTok era of 24/7 wide access to never-ending streams of pop culture and online content, a concerning presence of teen narcissism and entitlement, the idolatry of morally bankrupt celebrities, and the heavy saturation of pro-libtard agenda pushing, young, impressionable, everyday girls ranging from the ages of probably 12 upward are going online dressing way too provocatively, twerking their little backsides and mimicking or singing lyrics where they call themselves proud sluts and hoping that the D's are huge. Oh,
Bruh, this is the downfall of human race.
Yeah.
Like they are proud. They have that pride that they like. That goes back to people being bedroom fun positive to stay YouTube friendly, because there's another word, and that goes back on another segue and tangent. When I was swiping people on dating apps, I was reading sometime bedroom fun positive, and that was a red flag for me. And here's the why. If she is proud with this means she doesn't value intimacy. She thinks it's a good thing to get intimacy with whoever wants it. And this most likely means there's no true connection that can be made because she will have intimacy with everyone, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
That's basically a way to like let you see that they're a slut, basically. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
You're not sure?
Yeah, I'm
Yes
not
or no?
sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just trying to think.
You get to secure, bro. You have every right to, right?
I'm just gonna say I'm not sure for now.
Okay.
Oh, take a look at this, and I tell you what, it's fucking sad and super disturbing.
Hi, I'm a slut. Do what I want, I don't give a fuck. Always swallow, I heard it's good luck. Hi, I'm a slut. Hi, I'm a slut. Hi, I'm a slut.
Okay, so now we have seen like 3 proud SLUT on the screen. Would you date any of them?
Nope.
And there's no shame. There's no shame if you want to.
No.
There's place for everyone. Why would you say no?
Look, normally the reason why is because from how they're constantly saying like, "Oh, I'm a slut" or a slug. Not sure what word they're using, and the way how they're constantly like showing, it's like, yeah, no.
Not for me. I cannot take a woman that sing like that on TikTok. I cannot take that seriously because I can bet this shit is from TikTok. I can't take you seriously. I just can't. Go have your bedroom fun with every good-looking guy you want, but I'm not interested. It's just not my cup. You know, it's and they try to make it look better, but they should be ashamed of being like that. They should realize and be self-aware that it doesn't look good if you sing like that. It just doesn't.
Hi, I'm a slut. I'm a slut. Oh, baby.
So you see, there's 2 girls in a row with a blurry face. Here's my guess. These 2 are ashamed. They don't want to be recognized. So they do know there's something wrong in that. So why are they doing it?
Beats
Do you have
me.
a response for me, DC?
As for like why they're doing it, beats me. But other than they probably just want to do it for fun. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, but yeah. Other than that, I don't even know what to say.
My guess, this is the sisterhood. They want to be part of the group. They want to be part of that family of SLUT. But they don't want their families to laugh at this shit because they know they won't be taken seriously. That's my guess. At least they know rigged in that.
Basically, I'm a slut. I can't help it.
And you're really a total hoe, right?
I'm just a. Oh, God. I told you, bloody disturbing.
When it comes from a woman perspective, because she's a woman, I think it's hilarious. A woman calls you on your crap there.
Yep.
I just let you meditate a bit on that.
Yeah.
We are not crazy, right?
Yeah, we're not.
It makes me want to move my family and my 3-year-old daughter to the middle of the Australian outback, where the
Oh wow! This girl, bro. She is hilarious, and I'm glad I don't live in the States because here in Canada it's not that bad. Yes, there are a few cases where it's bad, but it's nowhere near as bad as where you guys are living, man. I'm glad I live here.
Yeah.
And she has a daughter. That's peak there. That means she has a kid, you know? And
Yep.
if she doesn't want her kid to be like that, that means she has a moral compass.
The only venomous bitches are the incredibly dangerous wildlife. I'd even take the risk of dingoes eating my baby. Don't worry, they wouldn't get near her because I.
Bro. So, to add more context, Australia is one of the most dangerous places. That's why she's laughing at she would take the risk of getting eaten alive, or she would place her life at risk over placing their sanity at risk and their morals. And that's hilarious and interesting at the same time. I just gotta say that. I respect that content creator so much. Um, yeah. Do you want to add more to this?
No, not for me.
I'd those dopey dogs up with my mama bear claws of fury. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. Back to the sluts. The word slut used to be seen as an insult, but Gen Z are reclaiming it.
It's hilarious because it's written by a woman. Bro, I cannot take that writer seriously. I just can't. Because there's no world where you can turn something that negative into a positive thing without looking ridiculous. It's like saying, oh, grape is a good thing. It's not. Don't you ever try to promote grape. And here, that's like the more conservative aspect of me talking, because I don't think this how relationship should be. And it's a bit sad because I wish Grey Puppet was there. He would most likely have a very different take from us. But yeah, we do what we got to do, even if he's not around.
Yep.
It's Generation Z are changing the way we talk, and now they are reclaiming a 4-letter word that used to be an insult. It's still an insult. It will always be an insult. You're just deluding yourself if you don't think it's an insult.
I agree. It's a delusion. You're delusional if you think you can change the meaning of words like that. It's a never-ending game. Let's change every negative word into a positive one. Why that specific word should be the only one affected by it? Here again, double standard. They want to change what suits them. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree with your points, and I can understand them.
You're just putting some mental gymnastics spin on it to try and convince yourself that you're not acting like a complete hoe. The word slut used to be an insult specifically hurled at women and used to shame them, but the next generation of women is reclaiming it. Recently, I was at a crowded pub in Sydney CBD when I saw a gaggle of girls arrive, all dressed to the nines and furiously snapping selfies and laughing at each other's jokes.
Bruh, the sisterhood is priceless. So this is coming from a men's perspective. I may be wrong because I'm not a woman, but I feel like women, they will all agree with each other only to not create drama, because when they disagree it can get dirty and they don't want that. And don't you dare criticizing another woman if you're all in for girl power, because that means some girls are wrong, and that's not what the sisterhood wants, right?
Yep.
So yeah.
You knew they were Generation Z because their skirts were plaid. What? Hello? Clueless? That shit was around in the 90s. Not to mention the predating school Catholic girl look. Their jeans were low-waisted. Oh my god, 90s again. And their makeup was verging on ugly. We talked about this in one of my last videos, the ugly makeup trend, where they're trying to put men off talking to them because they're so hot. Let's go, sluts! One screamed like a war cry. Suddenly, the gaggle of girls collected their things and headed off to the next venue. It dawned on me that the word wasn't being used like an insult, but rather like a provocative term of endearment. Okay, yeah.
I will never find it endearing. What do you think of that?
Yeah, not sure what to say.
I will never stand behind them and say, go girl, keep being a slut and proud slut, and it's positive now. I will never think that way.
Yeah, now that you just point out, yeah, I disagree. Yeah.
I kind of get that one. Amongst a group of girlfriends, yes, you do call each other sluts. It's like male banter for females. But I don't trust it in this day and age because it's turned itself around and it means a whole different thing now. Now with all these girls being so loud and proud about actually being a slut or acting slutty, what they really could have been saying was, all right, sluts, let's go to the next pub and a whole bunch of dudes because we're major skanks with our asses hanging out of our skirts. But it's cool because it's totally acceptable today.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
That girl is priceless, bro. I'm
Yep.
jealous of her husband or something. She's smart.
Yep.
Today. Who knows? Reclaiming the word slut is bigger than just what I overheard. It's actually so big it has become a business. There's a brand called Sluts Redefined that markets merchandise to young women with words.
Young woman, are you kidding me? This is brain rot. And this makes me angry because I have two half sisters. One is older. She will be an adult soon. I lost track of her age, but I think she will turn 18 soon, either next year or 2 years from now. So she is starting to get older and more mature and stuff. But my youngest one, I don't want her to be affected by this shitty trend. I don't want her to be objectified. She's still a baby. She is like 7, 8 years old. The older one is like 16 or so, maybe 17. I lost track because when you go older, you lose memory. But anyway, in no world I would wish them to follow that stupid trend. But hey, do what you gotta do, right? What do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree with your points, and I agree with your way. Very responsible. Very responsible.
Keep them away from TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so disgusting that they aim at young women. It's so wrong.
Yep.
Words that are traditionally used to insult women emblazoned on their clothes and accessories. All right, that's a fucking problem. If you're so much of a dumb bitch that you think going out in public wearing a t-shirt or whatever with the word slut written across your chest for all the world to see is a good idea, then you've got problems.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree. It's kind of disgusting.
Would you date someone with that shirt?
Nope.
Me neither. Because that person doesn't take intimacy seriously. She is just giving it away like candy.
Yep.
So yeah, if you have a minimum of self-respect, don't wear that shit. That's how I see it.
You think you're being real clever and virtue signaling some kind of women's rights issue. But people aren't going to think that. They're going to take one look at you in your stupid t-shirt and think, my, your parents must have failed you. Why would they ever let you out of the house looking like that? And that's obviously if you're still living with your parents. I mean, if you're old enough, you should know better by then that it's just bad taste and makes you look like a certified hoe. And why?
I like that word.
Yep.
That's priceless. She will raise her daughter right.
Yep.
I trust her. We need more mothers like that, please. And I can bet she has good father figures, and I can bet her husband is a good example to follow. I bet
Yep.
all of that because I know psychology and how you surround yourself of what you are.
Yep.
Happens if you're out and about one day and you bump into the man who would become your husband, the man of your dreams, perfect for you in every single way. He looks into your eyes, you look into his eyes, sparks fly, magic's happening, the attraction is crazy. His eyes start to look down because, you know, guys like tits, and then he sees slut written across your chest.
I would never marry that kind of stuff. Even if she
Neither would.
is
Go on.
freaking pretty. She is like the prettiest girl around. And when we talk, she sounds smart. If I see her wearing this shit, I run.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I agree 100%.
So that goes back to what we mentioned in the past video. Men do care. Women do care about what they wear and what they see.
Yep.
He's going to be like, red flags, red flags, red flags. Abort, abort. Get the away from this crazy bitch. You are not the mum of my children, ho. Go find another dick to suck, you slut.
She just ended my life, bro. She's priceless.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have something to add there?
Nope.
Shit. This video is fucked. I'm sorry, I know there's so much swearing in this video, and the content is just terrible, but we persevere on. A TikTok featuring the brand's hot pink trucker hat with the word slut written on it in bold letters employed or implored? I don't fucking know. Clearly whoever wrote this is a dumb slut. Young women to embrace the world. Calling all women, it's time to reclaim the word slut and show those boys they can't hurt us anymore.
Sister. Even if it won't be the intent, we will hurt you when we will reject you. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree.
This is priceless. The response was positive. That's the most hilarious shit, bro. These people buying into it, they're delusional.
Yeah.
Is it the word? I'm really bad at spelling, but I can bet that's the word.
Delusion.
I'm obsessed. Someone commented, "Yes, you are. Yep, I need this app. What? I want that one so bad, bro. Where is this world going? It's falling apart."
Yep.
The response was positive. Oh, God. I'm obsessed. Yep, I need this hat. I want one so bad. You're all dumb bitches. Actually, you know what? This could be a good thing. Yeah, no. Buy your slut attire. Wear it out in public. Do all the men a favor so they know to avoid you like the plague, lest they want to...
This is golden. She is hitting it right, bro. So if you buy into that, get all of the hats and clothes you want. Like, you will regret it like 10 years from now when you will realize men's are not into that. But hey, do you, I do me.
to contract a sexually transmitted disease.
Did you got what she said?
Yeah.
So you can basically contract disease while surfing on the internet now. Hell
Yep.
yeah. That's how we do things now. We need to wear protection on the internet now.
Yeah.
So stupid. I mean, you might as well wear a t-shirt that says, I have gonorrhea across your
Oh, wow. It's the second time I watched this video, and I laugh as hard as the first time. Like, mark down on your shirt, I'm the worst mother you can have for your kids. That's the same shit. The same shit, I'm telling you.
Yep.
chest. So the article goes on. It talks about some teen idol singer who's made being a slut popular. And as we saw before in those TikToks, girls are all doing their little 30-second I'm a slut proud TikTok dance shit, or whatever the f that stuff is. Here's some footage of that singer promoting slutism. 2, 3.
Would you date that girl there, even
Oh,
if she's good
nope.
looking?
Nope.
We are more complex than just being that are attracted, right?
Yeah.
She's good looking, but she's stupid. So that's a repellent for men.
Yep.
Feel like you mean it. 1, 2, 3.
I wish we could see everyone in that room so we can already discard them from mate potential.
Yeah.
This video, bro. That made my day, I'm telling you. I've seen it the second time and it's as good as the first time.
The word has been successfully taken over by women on the internet, and they are using it exactly how they want to.
That's true, but it doesn't change the meaning. And we still laugh really hard at the stupidity behind it.
Yep.
What do you think of that?
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
Women might be reclaiming this word to take the power from the word and those who would use it disparagingly, she said. I think it's a positive thing when someone is truly confident in their sexuality and is supported by those around them and in their networks. And that
Intimacy, man. That should be all it is, but they lost all meaning of intimacy.
Yep.
It's not. But anyway.
That was a psychologist who said that. Still, she does admit she worries that when women are reclaiming the word, it might also create a space for people to share unhelpful attitudes or comments.
There we go. This is smarter than the rest of the video. They will, like, if they win that case, they will turn every bad word into a good one, and they will spread misinformation and stupid shit around, like STDs or something. Bro, I'm dead.
Well, thank you, Miss Psychologist, for your advice on it's okay to be a slut, but maybe you shouldn't be a slut.
Like, the idea is good, but don't do it. It's bad. Like, it looked good on paper, but don't do it because it's not good on reality.
Bravo. Did you earn a degree in no shit? Exactly. Kid yourself all you want to about reclaiming the word slut in the name of feminism. No one's going to see it that way other than you dumb bitches. They're going to take one look at you wearing your slut t-shirt and think, oh, you're a slut. I'm going to avoid you. I don't want herpes. God. Yeah, Yeah, so great. That's just perfect, isn't it? And thanks to the growing popularity of ho rap artists like my favorite hood rat skank, Sexy Red, you all know her. We did the prolapsed anus rap in one of my other videos. I got a prolapsed anus. It's hella heinous. It's just going to fan the flames of slutism even more.
Bop, 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 nut in my coochie. Bop, 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 all in my stomach.
Would you date her?
Nope.
Why?
She's stupid and yeah.
So now we are like classical conditioning going on right now. We see these signs, we see these red flags, we run. Run, bro, run! It's for survival.
He wanna see how this coochie work. But me good nigga, make me squirt. Dig me down, dig me down, dig me down.
Oh my god,
I can only bet ding me down means F me deep. Yeah. Like, I hope her future husband sees that before they marry, so they don't marry.
She is shit. She is the worst fucking rapper ever. I've heard the full song. She can't even keep in time with the beat when she's dropping lyrics. All she is a slut lol cash cow with no talent. Like I said, anyone can do this. Oh god, why am I doing this? All right, you've been asking for it. Bop, 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 bop. I let him squirt me. Bop, 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 bop. My poon has herpes. He said I'm a dumb bitch.
She is so meta, bro. She is the most meta thing we can see. She is too meta, bro. It's beyond understanding, I'm telling you. I pause at the perfect moment.
With a bad case of crotchage. Skank. I know my place. I'm a disgrace. He whipped it right out and shoved it.
Hell yeah, you're a disgrace. At least you're aware of that, even if you poke fun at it.
Yep.
I can only bet this song has so many views, and most of these comments are all of these girls that enjoy that word being positive now. I don't see any men that is not sexist liking this. I can see a sexist, misogynistic guy being into that shit because he's like, oh, she's damn right. But no saint men can be into this shit. I don't think so. I don't think so. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I don't think so either.
In my face, I got mad skills. Scott game is ill. He treat me like shit, so I guess he red pilled. I am a hoe. My coochie's on show. I make that mad cash, but I can't keep tempo. Can't keep my legs shut. I don't give a what. No talent's okay.
She is meta. She realized she can't keep tempo.
Cause I'm a pro slut, dumbass bitch. That's me. My music is shit house. What? No. Why do you make me do this? Anyway, that's all from these sluts. Frankly, it boils this bare slut's piss, and I've had my fill. And that's what she said. Thanks for watching, everyone. How did we do on the slut count? Ooh, Jesus, that's not good. Remember to go check me out on BitChute, Odyssey, and Twitter, and my videos are also on Rumble and completely uncensored. Thanks for watching. Tits out.
Perfect. There we go. That was clothing, classical conditioning, laughing at stupidity on TikTok and the internet. So what did we learn today?
We learned a lot of how Pavlov's dog is important in women, modern day women.
Some modern day woman, I'd like to specify. Girls are not all like that, and I know that.
Yeah.
But like they're the loudest one. We cannot lie about it.
Yeah.
They are the one that speak louder. It's like the anti-woke crowd. They have crazy ideas and they stream these crazy ideas out there. So I I enjoyed my time. It's a bit sad that nobody else joined because I like having different point of views and stuff. Yeah. What do you have going on your channel?
Nothing.
Okay. As I said in the past, there are really short movies you can look into for next week. Anyway, thank you for your time, bro. I don't see myself doing that alone. It's nowhere near as fun because alone, like, it's not the same experience.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much for joining me, and I enjoyed our disagreement. I enjoyed our agreement. It's a bit sad we didn't add a third point of view or a fourth one for the matter. Maybe next time on other stuff. So yeah, have a great one. Take care, and viewer, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to both channel. You can see it on the description below. I will also comment on your video, both videos link. And with that being said, have a great one, DC, and we will talk later.
All right. Let's see.